And welcome to the Confound Millennial, starring Steven Stirvin Michaels, and featuring special guests Marc and Alex from the June Corporation, my free company, on Final Fantasy XIV Online.
Hello.
What's up?
What's up, guys? Just
What's up?
having a good day, man. It's been pretty good, pretty productive, and now I get to sit down and get to meet some of the guys I've been playing with for a couple months now online.
Oh, thank you very much.
Glad to be aboard.
Yeah, me too.
So let's go in order of who we got on screen. Marc, tell us a little bit about yourself, as much as you'd like to share, or just pertain to the game or whatever.
Okay. I mostly play a lot of JRPGs. I used to play some FPS games as well, like Call of Duty, Destiny. Then I kind of fell off board of that because it's too much rage quitting when you're losing. So now I got into Final Fantasy since 2.0, so 2013, and I've been playing ever since. And it is literally my favorite game.
Nice. And Alex, pretty boy acid over here.
So basically, I am actually not a really huge gamer. I have selected games that I play and I enjoy. Like I started like back in the NES days on the original Final Fantasy and the original Dragon Quest, aka Dragon Warrior, here in North America. I did play like a little bit of Street Fighter when I was on my teen years in the arcade, but wasn't really ever a big gamer. I'm more into like music production, hanging out, going to the club, that type of things. But I mean, video games were always something that I would come home to, even with my like limited library choices. In terms of MMO, I did play Final Fantasy XI for quite a bit. I did play World of Warcraft, and then this guy here, actually, we worked together, and he dragged me into. I was like, I don't know if I would start another MMO, but 11 was fun, and I kind of missed it at time. He's like, dude, come try it. I'm like, Finally, I caved, and I joined in, and 4 years later, here we are.
He has more game hours than me.
Wow. He's got more game hours in the 4 years than you do in the
7 or 8 years I've been playing. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I was like surprised.
Well, I mean, there's the whole thing. You play other games. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
You play other games. You're like an actual gamer, whereas I play game.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Alex. I used to be a gamer, but like all of a sudden, like I had like a mass amount of ADD come in and kick my ass, and I can't really focus on games that much. The last game I was really able to grab me was The Witcher 3.
Oh,
and
okay.
I had pretty much done what I could on that, and I was just playing games on and off, trying to find something fun. And then 3-4 months ago, I saw an ad for Final Fantasy Online, and I had forgotten that it even existed, was a thing. I was like, you know what? Hell yeah, let's do this. Just something compelled me, and now I'm hooked. Like a crackhead game.
I can honestly relate to that.
Yeah. Says the guy who has more hours than me.
Well, like originally, like I got the free trial. I'm like, you can't talk to anybody. This is annoying. So I'm like, $10 for the base game. You get a free month. I'll try it out, and you know, if I finish the story, everything, and I feel like continuing, I'll buy the other expansion and continue on. If I don't like it, I'll stop. Right? Worst case, I've spent $10 on worse things. And then again, 4 years later, here we are.
I actually, when I went to buy it, I knew what day I was going to buy it because that's when I got paid. And that day, the whole complete edition went on sale for $23.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, no brainer. And they had it like the base version nowadays is $20.
Mm-hmm.
And so $3 more, get the complete thing. Like, no brainer there.
Even the free trial, it's really worth it because now it includes base game plus not Shadowbringers, Heaven's Ward. So you can play 2 base games for free. The only thing limited is like, oh, you can't do retainers, you don't have access to market board, but you can do all the jobs. You have hundreds of hours just to play for free, literally. So
Right.
it's not a bad deal. You can just play for free.
And the most annoying part of it is going to be not being able to talk to people.
Yeah. Well,
that's what it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, I'm playing a game with this many people online. Like, I'm going to talk to somebody, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to me, I spent about like 2 minutes on the free trial. I'm like, why am I even trying an MMO if I'm not interacting with people?
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, just being completely inexperienced to everything about this, decided I was going to make my own little free company at the beginning. We called it Bros Before Chocobos. And it was a beautiful little time. It was just a group of people who had just really started out. And then all of a sudden, everybody at once, including me, decided, yeah, we need to find like bigger free companies and actually thrive in this game.
So everyone's split their ways, I guess.
And the first person I saw shouting around, trying to get recruits was Alex.
Yep.
Running around the cities.
Not just the cities. I go to every zone. Every single zone.
Just tell.
It was dang it, I can't remember what town it was that I saw you in, but I'm sure you've gone everywhere, every place, just shouting around.
Yeah, I picked up people in Lulamigo. I pick up people in like the place outside Christarium that I can't think of the name right now. Lakeland.
Lakeland.
North Shroud, like you name it. I honestly picked up more people in the open world than I did in the cities.
I just
you know what? Think about it. Think about it this way. Like what hit me is there's a lot of new people, and I'm trying to grab these new people to grow this FC. Well, where was I when I was a new player? I was not in the city. I was running around the world doing quests, playing the game, enjoying it. I wasn't sitting in a city waiting for stuff to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really when we were picking up a couple people were growing a bit, and that boom where we went from last week there was 5 of us in here, and this week there's 150. Next week there's close to 300. Was when I started hitting those zones outside.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just crazy how much growth has happened, because I assume that this, like, how long had this free company been established?
Well, Alex, okay, so quick backstory on the free company. So I was actually in another free company, which was one of the larger on the server at the time. And then, I got to the raid component. I enjoyed the raid component. So I made 2 more characters so I could do more lockouts and raid more. But then I got to the end, it's like, I miss being able to repair my own gear and meld my own gear. This is annoying for me. So I'm going to make them crafters, which required me to transition gear. But it was really frustrating having to have to empty their free company chest to put my stuff in, pick it up, switch back, put all their stuff back in, and then go on with what I'm doing. So I'm like, I like you guys and all, but let's stay in touch via the link shell. And I'm going to do my own thing where I can logistics this stuff for myself. And so it was basically, me and my alts, logistical purposes. Then I got annoyed that my alts couldn't go to my main character's house, so I bought them a house. And then what happened is one of the other members, Bailey, he was like, came back to the game after years, real life best friend. So I brought him in. We chilled, we played the game. He's like, I don't need a big crowd. Cool. And then Mark, after not talking to a while, texts me. I'm at work. He's like, yeah, my server's dead. My company's dead, and I'm bored on the server. Do you have a free company, or are there people? I'm like, well, it's me and my dude. We have a mansion and all this cool stuff. And he's like, yeah, beats the 0 people I have. So he came over. And then we kind of had a few people for a time. They left everything. And then we were talking about, like, it'd be funner if we did have more people to play. We have resources, right? We have mansions, big buffs, everything, omni crafters, all these materials, and it's just basically us. So we were talking about it, and then Asmon came to the server. I had to learn who.
Right, same. Never heard of him before.
Asmongold, yeah. Well, Alex, you there? I think he cut off.
I think we lost him. But either way, let's pick up where he left off. He was talking about Asmongold coming through, and that is just a weird thing that he's on our server.
Actually,
did you go to Foundation? There he goes.
Alex, you there? Nope, still nothing.
Oh, yeah, for a second. There he is. Alex?
And I think I have some lag here.
Oh.
Can you hear us now, Alex? I'll cut this part out.
Can you guys hear me? Because I can't hear you guys.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, so we're going to have to do this with me not being able to hear you, but I see the thumbs up. All right, so basically, I'm like, all right, I'm going to make a marketing campaign, and like WoW Refugee, it's very accurate and it's very non-offensive. It's a really friendly, accurate description of the people coming in, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to use that, and I stuck it into my shout, and it resonated with people. Like immediately, we started to get a lot more applicants of like, WoW Refugee here. Hey, I'm new, brand new, and it kind of built a community with people who had something in common as a basis, and it helped to bring a network together. And then a lot of the experienced members was like, hey, I have some new people, I can show the ropes, I can interconnect with them, I can guide them, help them out. And it just really clung together because we got a really good group and it gelled really nicely.
And it's weird that I came in right when all these WoW refugees, as he stated, were coming in as well. Because, I'd never played WoW before. I never played a game like this at all before. And it looks like I picked a pretty good time to come in. Alex,
yeah, like,
ladies and gentlemen.
You'll be back. Yeah, actually, this is like it's weird that we're getting new players right now because we're at a content lull, as people say, because there's no new content until the next expansion, and the fact that all these new players just coming in is just baffles. I'm pretty sure even the director Yoshi Pete was surprised that we're getting all these new players, especially a majority of them are coming from WoW. Like, he's probably really, really shocked about it. Like, he wasn't expecting this. And and one of the live letters, he had to apologize to to everyone, saying, we were not expecting this. That's why they're having there's so much people in the servers, right? That's why they're having trouble stabilizing the servers. And again, he wasn't expecting anything like this at all.
I mean, I could imagine, like, I don't know too much, but it's been a minute since Shadowbringers came out, right?
A minute?
It's been over 2 years at this point.
Yeah, it's over 2 years at this point. Yeah,
usually,
it's 2 years anniversary.
Really weird time, because I know the people that are coming in don't know about Endwalker coming out soon. They just are switching over to Switch.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in terms of like, if it wasn't for COVID backing things up, we'd already be in Endwalker for
we would be in
about a month
Endwalker by now. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because the launch cycle is always new expansion always comes out during the summer, so around July is always the release date for the new expansion. But because of the whole COVID thing, everything got pushed. Now we're at November launch date. So hopefully, cross fingers, that thing doesn't get delayed. That that launch date doesn't get delayed till next year, because again, people are probably right now, people who are high-end raiders are probably booking times off, from their jobs just to get ready for that week from when the next raid tier comes out.
Oh, wow.
Well, the next raid tier isn't going to come out till 6.1, 6.15. Because, like, at the beginning of Shadowbringers 2, there was no extremes, nothing. They actually gave everybody a fair chance to
No, there
catch
was.
up the
They gave
story,
you
everything. Extremes came out after.
no. I
First
know
patch.
that. I'm pretty sure the first tier of the raid came out after 4 weeks.
No, it came out way later. It didn't come out till almost December. Or, sorry, it came out in like late December or early January. It was a long while, because they released the normals first with no Savage, and then the Savage in the patch after that. The first one, they did not come together.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it came with like on the expansion launch as well. Well, at least 4 weeks after the expansion, just to let everybody play the story and everything.
Well, as the guy who was sitting there waiting for it and excited for the new Savage, believe me, I remember that long extended wait.
Okay, they may have changed it then from what I knew then, because again, I'm more of a casual player than a hardcore raider like Alex. Alex is more of a hardcore, so if you want to deal with the hardcore stuff, you can deal with him.
So, I had mentioned this, or first I'm going to say I'm glad that, to be a part of a free company that actually has its own little mansion thing, because I have a horrible spending problem in this game. So, like, I spend it all on glamours and shit, and there's no way I was going to be able to get an apartment, save all that up at one go at this point anytime soon. So I was glad I was able to get a free company room.
It is a bit cheaper. Like, yeah, housing is a problem in this game though. Like, I remember the days when I would just log in early, just try to get a house. And mind you, the house that I have right now, this is my 4th house, I think, 4th or 5th house. Because the previous houses I've lost because I wasn't logging back on the game, and they're gonna auto demolish your house if X amount of days that you didn't log back in and go inside your house, they'll demolish it. But you'll get an email notification that hey, you're being a delinquent. We're gonna destroy your house. You have this amount of days to get into the game and access your house, or else it's gone. Poof. And they'll only return a little bit of your money back. So this time I don't want to lose my medium house, because that medium house took a lot of time and investment, saving up. Alex he does a lot of crafting, so he has a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah, so on the point of like the problem with the housing, it's a blessing and a curse. It
Hmm.
sucks because there's a limited amount of plots, but at the same time, because you don't have this open instant thing where everybody just buys a thing, you have that community on the wards. Like, I mean, I absolutely love that we can all be sitting in front of the mansion and another FC can come chat with us, or random people can walk by, wave, say hi, talk to us. And sometimes people just come, and there's a few people we recruited just because we were hanging out front, socializing. They came in, thought we were a great bunch, and they just applied.
Right. Like I remember it's been a couple days in a row that we've had people just stroll up to the mansion and try to apply that way. Or at least
Yeah,
I can remember it happening a few times this week.
yeah. I got a couple of people who just came to the mansion. They were asking me. I was just sitting there, and they were like, "Oh, can I apply?" I was like, sure." I was actually weirded out. Like, how did they find our place? I don't know if it was on the Alex's F's shout when he was running around the cities, but I was like, okay, you can join us. Like, I'm not gonna say no for new players, right?
Right.
Well, sometimes it's just people do like looking at people's houses and what they come up with, and then you see a big crowd in front of a place, it gets your attention. And for the most part, like even right now, I'm in the game. There's like at least four people in front, and in the evening or whatever, you'll have sometimes 10, 12, 15 people hanging out, and it gets people's attention.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a really good group that we've got going around, or you guys got going. It's I mean, nobody except for one person that I heard about has been a jerk, and they were dealt with very quickly.
Hmm. Yeah.
We
That.
had a couple people who were kind of pushy, but the thing is, like, even when I started growing the company, like me and Maley, who's my real life friend, long term member, we were talking about it, and he's like, "Well, it's just going to turn to this," and I'm like, in the end, like, I do management for a living, and managing this and managing people at a company is the exact same thing. If you don't react to things, things go out of control. It just always, in every guild, FC, and whatever you want to call it, I've been in, they always fall apart because the leadership fails to react to things right away. Like, there's sparks before there's a fire, there's fires before there's a blaze, and there's a blaze before everything burns down. And, ideally, whether I'm here or at work, it's see the sparks, react to the sparks.
Hmm.
And just kind of people by nature are always going to test the water. Like, you do have people who strictly just like attention. You have people who want to stir the pot, everything. And it's just, if they're going to tread the water, you got to kind of make them, if that water is the rules and the beliefs in whatever structure you're in, you got to let them know that water is shark infested. If you go in there, it is not going to pan out any way other than some sort of disciplinary action about it.
Right. And it's not like you've got any like super like how the heck is this a rule? Anything like that. It's pretty much be a decent person.
Hmm.
It's all
Yeah.
we you.
Yeah.
Like I just looked at what triggers people, and the thing is, it's not even like brilliant idea on my part. Like I've been in many leadership courses, everything, and our rules are basically you walk into a leadership course, the first thing they are going to tell you that avoid these topics of conversations and avoid these behaviors because these are the fastest way to offend somebody and have a conflict.
Yeah.
But So Mark,
Mm-hmm.
we've already stated you've been playing since 2013.
Mm-hmm.
What was what was it like back then compared to what it is now? Because I have no reference.
Okay. Just for uh, so this is background info, and so I discovered Final Fantasy 14 since a long time ago, 1.0, before the game was even launched, and I was kind of excited about it because oh, a Final Fantasy MMO. I've never tried an MMO, and I've heard only about 11. Vaguely, never played it. So, and I was watching this Japanese commercial, and one of the actors I liked was that they were advertising for Final Fantasy 14, and I was like, cool, okay, I'm gonna pre-order it. I'm gonna go to my local game store. I'm gonna pre-order the collector's edition. I even got it for the PS3 because I had a PS3. I don't have a PC. So then I think I got a phone call saying, "Oh, your pre-order got canceled and everything." I was like, "What? Why?" And they told me, "Oh, the game was not doing well. Like the PC port was not doing well. They had so many problems." And like, so they canceled the PS3 version. I was like, "Really?" And I was quite shocked. I was like, "Oh, okay." I was quite disappointed because I wanted to play this Final Fantasy game because it was pretty cool, right? During the time. So fast forward 2013, um, I was reintroduced to Final Fantasy 14 when my sister was playing it, and I was like, "Huh." She was playing on the PS3, and I was like, "Wait, they came." I was like, "Why are you playing a Final Fantasy game?" And it's 14. I was surprised because again, I thought it flopped. I thought there was no PS3 version came out. And she was like, "Yeah, no, it's pretty good. Try it." So I played it on the PS3, and you know what? It was pretty good. I got immediately hooked. I made my character, and I started playing, and I got to level 50 within a couple of days, and I loved the story during the time. Um, and back then, like everything was brand new. Like when you were do you know Praetorium? When you're facing the Ultima weapon, people wiped. People wiped when you can't meet the DPS check when he was using his final mode. What was it called? Ultima. That was his final skill, I think, the enrage part. People were I wiped the first time because we couldn't meet the DPS check during the time, and it was pretty cool. Ifrit hard, people were wiping because people don't know the mechanics. Again, everything now, like if I look back into it, like Ifrit was easy. Ifrit hard was easy. Garuda hard was easy. But back then, like people were not doing mechanics right. People were wiping and everything. It was pretty hard back in the 2.0 days. When it comes to raiding, like the binding coils, I didn't experience that until I got my new count on the PS3. Because when I was playing 2.0, I was playing under my sister's account with my own character. But since I have I subscribe with my new account, and on my own PS3, so I remade a new character because I couldn't transfer my character from my sister's account. So I made a new character, redid the whole A Realm Reborn all over again, and I queued up for binding coils, and I had no idea what the alliance, the raid was all about. I had no idea how. I didn't know, and I queued up. I took 30 minutes to queue, 30 to 35, and we were wiping on the first boss, the first mini boss, because I didn't know how to play my job. I didn't know what the hell was. No one was teaching anyone what to do. So it was quite of a hassle. Not of a hassle, but like the fact that no one was teaching you what to do was kind of, it my it's kind of like my anxiety for it kind of grew on me. That's why right now I can't do savage rating or anything that kind of thing because I don't like that. There's a lot of pressure on me. So I guess that's what 2.0 is for me during the days. But now looking back, like it was different. Everything back then was different to what it is now. I think from back then to now, everything's better now. In my opinion, I think. So hopefully
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I have heard that it's a game that, like you said, flopped miserably when it came out, to the point where it didn't, like, they create the story to destroy everything that they'd already done.
Yeah, like I didn't even know Binding Coils was about the story about the rebirth of the whole thing. Like I had no idea because I wasn't really paying attention as much because I thought it was something else. But like yeah, no, yeah, sorry.
Oh, you're good. But so,
Uh,
coming up in the future of Final Fantasy, what would you guys like to see most?
hmm. Again, it's always the new jobs, what people are expecting. I think Alex would agree that what he's expecting more from the game, he wants to see Final Fantasy 11 jobs such as Beastmaster and Puppet Master. That's what he's expecting. For me, I want more of a unique, more different jobs, unique, more Final Fantasy 14 unique jobs. So Sage and Reaper are unique to 14, which is kind of cool. So I want more. I want more of that unique rather than borrowing ideas from 11 or from the past. What else would I want in Walker? Um, oh, for 14, future 14, I just want more expanded universe because as what they said, right? The saga between Zodiac and Hydaelyn is ending. So I want more world exploration because we barely scratched the surface of the world of Hydaelyn. We've only seen a little bit pieces of the world because for me I'm a lore guy, lore and history kind of guy. So I like exploring the different parts of the world. So you know we still have the Western continent that we don't know about. We still have the continent on the south that we don't know about, which is Miracidia. So I don't know where you are at the story. That's another lore that they're talking about and everything. And there's still more in the east that we haven't talked about, and there's still the region above where Garlemald is. There's still a lot of regions they still haven't explored. So I'm actually quite happy. I wish uh, they keep producing better and better lore, and or if anything more. They talked about. Oh, this is gonna be a spoiler, so I'm not gonna reveal anything.
Thank you.
Actually, Alex.
All right, from me, I'm not really expecting those Final Fantasy 11 jobs. Like I did love Puppet Master, and like talking to you at work and everything. It's something I definitely wanted, and I would love to see. I do understand that how 11 played was way more catering to a job like that. I really can't imagine how they would make it work here, but if they make it happen, that's fantastic. I will be very, very happy. But if not, I'm still pleased with the game. In terms of what I'm looking forward to, yes, new jobs are a cool thing. I'm happy they get a melee because I do like playing the melee classes. For me, the big thing is the story. Shadowbringers was
Mm-hmm.
so epic, and I got punched in the feels, and I teared up, and I formed strong bonds with characters, and you know was devastated when some of them became no longer with us. Stuff like that, just like that true Final Fantasy feeling. Endwalker, I'm kind of on this thing, right? Like, for anybody who's played Near Replicant, Near Automata, I play them kind of in reverse sequence. I was like, Automata is so amazing. And then I played Replicant when they put the release, and I'm like, oh my god, the predecessor was like so much better. Like, this was a masterpiece. So in terms of Endwalker, I'm at this point like Shadowbringers was a masterpiece, like beginning to end.
Yeah.
The characters, everything, like everything was on point, like so on point. So, I would love to see that be taken to the next level, but in the reality, masterpieces are hard to top. It is very hard to top a
Well,
masterpiece in a realistic sense, right? Like, there's certain things that just, you know, you'll like, whether it's like a band's album, they write that one album and it was a beautiful piece of work. Doesn't mean their next album was bad, but you know, that was the magnum opus. Like, that was, just everything, all the stars aligned, everything fell together good. And the reason I bring up Near Automata, like, if Shadowbringers is Replicant and then, Endwalker is Automata, I'm okay with that. You know what? Really, really good, amazing product. I was like, this is so good. The original was a masterpiece, but if the follow up is really, really good, but isn't completely that masterpiece where the stars aligned, I'm still happy. I'll be content. Just make it really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where I'm standing on it. Like, you know what? If lightning strikes twice, all the better. I'm ready for some feels.
I don't know if I'm ready for some feels. I'm just honestly, I'm just like halfway through Stormblood.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, you guys haven't said anything that spoils anything for me.
Yeah. Well,
But
okay. Yeah, we're
at the
trying.
same
We'll
time,
try not
because
to.
I don't know what you're talking about if you did spoil something. But
No, I'm being purposely. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. I do want
Yeah.
everybody to enjoy everything. What I'll say
Mm-hmm.
is, like, when I finished Stormblood, the end part of Stormblood, I was like, this is so amazing. How are they going to top that? Like, it's one of my favorite things. Like, it wasn't sitting at the top of like my favorite expansion in a game, favorite game story. It was like, it's really, really good. And, that's going to be a tough act to follow. And then Shadowbringers came, and I was like, wow. Like, this literally, like, shot to like my favorite things of favorite things, whether it be game, book, movie, whatever. It just shot
Mm-hmm.
up there.
It's just the story writing and
It's the
Shadowbringers.
music,
It's
it's
just
the
different.
acting, it's the
It's the
camera
yeah.
angles, it's the voice
The
actors,
character develop. Everything is very complementary. Like everything they made everything work well together, and it's just it, like I can't even describe it. You
the,
just
the
have to
story the
experience it.
story is so complex, yet it flows so smoothly. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
just all comes together. And the thing with Shadowbringers, it's like all of the stuff that you went through up until that point, without going into spoilers, but all that stuff where you were like, we went from here, we went to here, and there seems to be like little threads. It kind of really is the first time. I'm just gonna, like, we know Endwalker, it's all coming together, but Shadowbringers is really where like all those threads finally start to come together and you start to see the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
right.
And it's just so magnificently presented. Like, you go back and you rewatch the Praetorium because you're leveling another job after doing Shadow Walk or Shadowbringers, and you watch the dialogue and you're like, wow, there is so much going on here that people first time watching this were not going to know how much sense this was going to make 10 years later.
That's what I like to see, because honestly, the Square Enix thing that got me first is I'm one of those crazy people, a diehard Kingdom Hearts fan.
Mm-hmm.
And they try to make things connect, but nobody knew what the hell was going on when it first came out.
You know what? I remember that. I finished my ex-girlfriend got me into it. She's like, I really love this game, blah, blah, blah. And I played it before, but I just, for whatever reason, didn't get into it. And my girlfriend wants to play this, so whatever, you play this. And I'm just kind of watching her play. And, the first part, I guess it was like the whole beach thing where not much is going on and it doesn't really suck you in. And like I was playing it at a friend's house, so I didn't spend money on this, so I wasn't really too invested. So I guess I just kind of tapped out. But she's playing this, she's super happy playing this, and I got nothing else going on. Might as well just sit back, watch her play this, and I'm like, you know what, this is getting interesting. You know what, this is getting pretty good, right? And then she got through the game progressively, and then just one day she came home and I'm like, yeah, I beat the game. She's like, did you try it out at all? I'm like, yeah, I beat it.
Wait, did you beat it on her save or on your
No,
own?
I made my own save. I'm not that much of a jerk.
I had a friend come over one time, and I was playing Spider-Man for the PS4, and I was just like hanging around clearing some side game stuff before I went to the last boss fight or the end of the game. And he freaking I get drunk, I pass out, I wake up, and he's beating the game on my save file.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, no. I started my own save game and played the game, and then just one day she's like, oh, did you try it yourself while I was out? Whatever. I'm like, yeah, I beat it. But besides that point, my original point was going to be I beat the game, and I was like, I don't understand what's going on. Like literally,
Right.
none of this makes any sense. Like that was like the worst thing ever. And she's like, well, you got to play part 2, and then it all makes sense.
No. Then you
got
got to
part
play
2, and she's like, you're not allowed to beat it before me. And while she wasn't home, of course I beat it before her. I just didn't tell her about it.
Like after the second one, they started sowing seeds. I mean, after the first one, they started sowing seeds for what would be Kingdom Hearts 2, but they didn't know, like they didn't have anything sown for 3. Like that's what I like about this Final Fantasy game is the story. Like you can tell we knew what we were going to do. Like, even George Lucas didn't know what he was going to do with Star Wars. He claims he does. He had no clue. But these guys, they're like, yeah, we've mapped this out since before you were born. We've got this.
Yes.
Yeah. I think he did say, Yoshipi did say he had everything mapped out already. He just making the story is what's was the problem. Like he knew what was going to end.
He said he had a 10-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it wasn't fully etched out. I think he just had like the key points of how he wants the story to go, right? Like they knew this was going to be this, these guys were this is going to lead to that, but I'm sure it got etched out over time, but at least he had a direction. Like on the topic of Kingdom Hearts, the first 2 were immaculate. I loved it. It's the greatest thing. And I played the other games and it felt so like, yeah, it's connecting, but it just didn't have that like full blown effect like the first 2 Kingdom Hearts game was, where it was just like, this is a strange universe. I don't know what the hell's going on to. Wow, that wrapped up beautifully and everything came together. And it's just, I feel that franchise just way cashed in with the mini games, the extra games, everything, instead of just going, let's make a solid prequel or sequel. How much can we recycle this content and retell you the story, or draw this out for you, instead of just really putting it, like, I know people are diehard, that's just my opinion, but that's how I felt with Kingdom Hearts. And with this, I felt at first, I thought the expansions were kind of etched out as it went along, and then Shadowbringers came along. I'm like, nope, this was definitely like a master plan planned out, and that's part of what made it so beautiful.
Right. And one reason I do bring up Kingdom Hearts while we're talking about Final Fantasy is I don't know if you guys have played the music game that they did, Melody and Memory for Kingdom Hearts, but it was a weird game. It had no point except for a couple cutscenes. It was like Guitar Hero with a keyblade. But the they set up the next saga of Kingdom Hearts, and it really looks like it's going to be, instead of visiting Disney worlds, you're visiting Final Fantasy worlds for a change.
Ooh.
But I mean, at the same time, in reality, there was a lot of like you have Final Fantasy key players in that game already as it is.
Right.
And
And that's them explaining where they come from is this new place, we think.
But like one of the amazing, like one of the things that like really caught me, like even on the first one, was Hollow Bastion. Like
Mhm.
that was one of the coolest thing ever, because you on one side you have this picture perfect Disney princess castle, and then on the other side you have this warped like Final Fantasy machina factory type of thing, conjoining together on that, like, mechanical heartless heart in the middle. And I thought that was just fantastic. It really blended that, you know take that Disney art and combine it with the like Final Fantasy world, and I thought that was just absolutely brilliant.
Right. And it's going to be weird seeing Donald and Goofy just running through a Final Fantasy world, but bringing this
See,
back to Final Fantasy and wrapping it up because we've run a little over time. Is there anything that you guys have, any last advice you would give to the new players coming in right now?
play the story. Like, don't think about endgame. Endgame, can't wait. Like, it's not gonna go anywhere. It's not like, oh, it's limited time amount. It's only gonna run for 2 weeks. Don't. Like, it'll be there. Just play the game as it is. Think of it as, again, it is an RPG first. It is a Final Fantasy first before an MMO. So play it like an RPG. The only MMO part is, like, if you're queuing up for dungeons, if you're queuing up for raids, you're queuing up for trials, or if you're meeting with other people. But play it like an RPG. Don't rush through. Again, this is more about the journey than than um than the end goal. Just play it like a play it like a game. Don't, like, it's like, think about a TV show, right? Everybody's on, for example, like, they're at the last season of Game of Thrones. Like, would you really, you know, would you really skip all the way, or rush all your experiences to rush through all the episodes just to get to where everybody is at? No, man. Just watch through all of it so you understand the story, and then once you finish all of that, then you can experience Game of Thrones at the final season. Don't just skip, or, in my opinion, I don't like skipping too. Like, what I think right now there's a dilemma about people boosting and skipping through story and everything. Like, I don't like it. I know it's there. Yoshi P doesn't like it either. But you know what? People wanted skip potions, so sadly that they had to introduce it. And I mean, if you're not really into the story and if you're into raiding, at least read your tool trips and look at your job, know your job, what it does and everything. Then you can raid. But in my opinion, if you skip and you boost it, and you're criticizing, the story is boring, then I have a problem with that, because you boosted but you didn't you didn't play the story. Okay, so that's just my thing. I don't know. Other than that, again, just enjoy the game. That's just my tips for new players. Again, it's a very, very friendly game. Very, very friendly community. Just ask questions. People will answer you back. If you're afraid to pull, or if you're afraid to do something, always just ask questions. People will always respond back. That's just my tips for new players.
Well, thanks. And Alex.
Okay, from me. Well, I'm going to start off with, I know I talked about this with you guys off the mic, is, yeah, guys, I'm not on camera because I'm on a tablet. So unless, nobody wants to see weird angles and probably shots up my nose, while I'm handling a tablet and doing this interview, that's why I'm not on video. In terms of advice to new players, I give this to everybody because it's the advice I wish I either got or listened to. I can't remember which was the case, but just pick your job. You can change your job at any time. You're not committed to it just because it's your first max level job. It is not destined that you will play this, but do the MSQ, enjoy the story. As we touched earlier, the new raids are not coming out immediately with the expansion. It's going to be a while. You have all the time in the world to get there. You'll probably have some time to, try some, even though they're simplified, the current tier to get your feet wet. Like, you got lots of time. Just do the story, and then once you finish your character, you finish the main story, then like Mark said, there's the coils, all the side quests. You can finish the extra stories, but just get through it, get your job up there, open the world up, unlock everything, and then it just actually becomes just so much simpler to flow through the side content. You have a bit more base knowledge, and it actually does in a way kind of make that side content a little bit more exciting because you're like, ooh, it's brand new, ooh, it's a cool story, but it also explains this. And once you have that openness, everything level, if you decide, hey, I don't like this job, I'm going to try a different one, you have a lot more resources at hand than trying to work with the minimal resources of, at 30 I decided to change my mind. Whereas if you have an 80, you already have max mount speed, you can fly around all over the place, you have extra things like squadron, all the dungeon unlock. It's a lot easier for you. So that would be my advice. Don't race, but at the same time, just pick a job, finish the MSQ, and then there is so much content. I have not done all of it. There are things, people that are new and doing that I haven't even unlocked yet. So there is lots to do. And the beauty, and again, the big thing here is no content really expires. If you want to feel it at that level, it has level sync. You're gonna feel it at that level, whether you just hit that level or you have an 80, right? The beauty of this game is stuff doesn't expire. You can always experience it at level. So don't feel like you have to be stuck there doing this stuff just because you're 50 right now. It doesn't matter. Just finish the story. Enjoy the story, and then branch out from there. That would be my advice.
And we also have brand new players who want to experience a Rumble Born, and they want to experience it as it was released, right? So you see these streamers, they're pogging, they're progging through these contents with minimum item level. So you can also find other players who are probably new putting up party finders just to do these contents. So these stuff is there, and you can prog it at minimum item level, or you can prog it, or you can just ask one of us to just, or one of your FC members, just prog through the story if you're more into the story than experiencing the fights. Like, there's so much stuff to do in this game. Like, I haven't even gotten one of the mounts that came out for one of the fishing expeditions, and that's what, a year old content now, and I still haven't done it because I'm busy leveling up all my jobs during the time. And right now, like, I have to, right now I'm just doing my relics for some of my classes, and I'm doing some of my current relics and I'm still doing some of my old relics because for glam purposes. But yeah, like there's so much stuff to do in this game. That's just don't be afraid. My other opinion is like there's just a lot to do. Some of the stuff is still relevant, like Alex says, and this game doesn't waste your time, unlike another game. From what other people are saying, their time is being wasted upon. So this game doesn't waste your time. The developers respect your time in this game. That's just my opinion on that.
And this game, like I said, or I don't know if I said it, but I thought it. It's really one of the most in-depth games I've ever played. So much to do. There's something for everybody. If you haven't tried it, I'm not getting paid to say this, but try it out, guys.
Yeah. Again, level. Have you tried the Final Fantasy XIV? It is a free trial, level 60, and it's award-winning. That PR marketing campaign really, really worked for them, if anything.
Yeah, and if you think there's stuff to do now, like we're even getting the Adventurers Island, which will be a completely non-combat, and it looks like a whole Animal Crossing thing that's going to happen. So
I'm actually quite excited for that.
I'm definitely interested. I can't wait to check that out. But yeah, there's going to be like a whole. They haven't really given much information, but from what they've showed, it looks like wow, this is going to be like a full-on like Animal Crossing type of thing. So you have separate leveling systems, you have all this stuff, and like they're creating more different playthings for people
for us
who
to do.
may not even be like combat people. Like for the people maybe who just like to come on and socialize, and that's their jam. Like they're getting one class through the story was enough, and they don't want to fight. They just want to socialize with people, grow some plants, collect some minions. It's just so cool that they just don't run out of ideas that they can implement in what really originally was like an old school bash up bosses kind of game. They just keep taking it to different levels.
Right. And I love how once you get the gil saved up to get a room, get an apartment, get a house, it suddenly turns into The Sims.
Yeah, there's a whole thing that people they just got to 80 and all they do is like craft whatever, make money so they can glam up and decorate their house, and that's literally like their end game for them. They're not interested in raid bosses, nothing. They literally want a fancy new design in their house every week and a fancy glamour to match it.
Yeah, I spent a week and a half straight just getting that room in the FC mansion to be a bar in the back, photo center up front with a green screen.
You actually did an amazing job, though. Like, this guy gets a room. He's like, guys, check out my room. Okay. I'm like, dude, what? This is really cool. So, like, if you are on Cactor, look up our company. Feel free to drop by the mansion and check out this guy's room because he did a fantastic job with it.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, that's been all the time that we have for today. It's been great hanging out with y'all. I will see you after a quick cigarette break in the FC mansion. And if you're ever on Cactar, remember June Corporation.
Yeah, definitely. If you're on Cactar, come see us. All right. I will see you guys back in the game.
All right. I will see you. And this has been the Confound Millennial, starring Steven Stirvin Michaels and featuring Marc and Alex of the free company June Corporation from Final Fantasy XIV Online.